I'm just going to share my screen. Oh, sharing the email here.
There it is.
There we go. So tonight, we're just going to talk about heaven. So according to Wikipedia, heaven or the heavens, originally it only meant sky or the firmament, if I said that properly. And it just goes on to talk about how heaven is a common religious, cosmological, or transcendent supernatural place where beings such as gods, angels, if I look off to the sides because I have a bigger screen, I don't need glasses or to squint. So heaven is common supernatural place where such beings as gods, angels, spirits, saints, or venerated ancestors are said to originate, to be enthroned, or reside. And according to the beliefs of some religions, heavenly beings can descend to earth or incarnate, and earthly beings can ascend to heaven in the afterlife, or in exceptional cases, enter heaven alive. I think most of us who've been raised in a Christian-based home have been indoctrinated with heaven and what it's supposed to be. Personally, I like this question here. Many of us were raised in that system, but do they really exist? What does heaven and hell look like to you? And if there is a heaven, is there a hell? So these are some of the things that I hoped we could chit chat a little bit about tonight. Personally, to me, heaven and hell are right here on earth. They are what you make of them. The whole idea of having to always be good to get into heaven is daunting. I don't know about the rest of you, but man, oh man, I would find that really intimidating to actually always be good, because let's face it, sometimes hell raising is just a lot of fun. So here also, how does heaven and the thoughts of heaven and the Christian meaning behind that, that's where God lives and he reigns over all of us and he reigns over everything in creation. How does that connect to your spiritual trip, your spiritual journey? Does heaven cease to exist when you start down a spiritual path? Or is it like a lot of other things when you've been raised in a religious home and all of a sudden decide to look at spirituality? Does everything that went along with religion get tossed out on his ears? I personally, I think I've already said it because I'm a little bit nervous here. Can't remember what I've said. Heaven to me is right here on earth. So is hell. When you're having a bad day, it just feels like hell and it feels like you're never going to get out. But when you're having a wonderful day or a lot of fun, and those moments, those magical moments of heavenly divinity are everywhere for us to find. And it can be as simple as, not today because it's kind of dull, but one of the fun things that I have in my home is I have a south-facing window and I have this beautiful crystal lamp that throws hundreds of rainbows into my home. And actually when I'm sitting working, I'm often under a bunch of tiny little rainbows. And to me, that's heaven. That is a heavenly moment. Or on, for instance, on, I can't remember what day, Sunday, I was at my son's and with the grandsons and his wife, we cooked some sap down. So it was just a really heavenly moment, especially when the 4-year-old crawls up into your lap and says, "This is such a fun day," right? So those are moments to me. That's what heaven means to me. I'm really curious as to what they mean to you. I can't wait till we break off into little groups and everybody can chit chat about what heaven means to them. And I'm also open to any questions we have right now. If anybody has a comment or what did they think? And my last comment, well, not my last comment, but my next comment is like, do heaven and hell exist outside of our souls? are they something that parents just use you better? If you want to get to heaven, you have to be good. If you keep behaving like that, you're going to go straight to hell. Or, for some reason, hell has become a bad word, right? Most little kids spell it HE double hockey sticks, thinking that they're getting away with saying a bad word. But is hell really a bad place, or is it just of our own making? Not to play too deeply into mental health, because I have no qualifications whatsoever other than my own life. But I know that there have been moments for myself that have been hell on earth, and would not want to repeat them, and would not want to have anybody else go through them. I really, really believe that it's all within us. But then it gets a little too deep. But if we're all one and we're all connected to the divine, then heaven and hell can only exist within us. And so then I went playing on the internet and found some fun pictures. So are you spiritual or religious? And how does heaven change for you, right? Because to me, the spiritual picture of heaven is, those big white fluffy clouds, God sitting in his thrones, or like this picture here, the hands holding out to you. And you're only going to get there if you behave the way he dictates. Or is it spiritual? Is it that interconnection that we have with everyone? I don't know how clear my screen is because it's not very big, but that image that we're all connected and all of our thoughts come in and go in together. Is that heaven or is that hell? So for me personally, heaven and hell have always just been, once I was old enough to separate myself from the religious teachings, heaven and hell have always just been right here on earth. They're of our own making, because honestly, I think our souls travel through different bodies. So once this body is done, heaven and hell are also going to cease to exist for it, because there's no attachment to this. I'm back when I was married. I think my husband used to say we're 98 cents worth of chemicals in a bunch of water. So with, inflation, we might be worth $4.98 now. I'm not really sure. But once that body dies, it's not going to know if it's in heaven or hell. It's only our souls. And do our souls spend a lot of time in hell, or can they? Can our souls actually be so corrupt that we only can go to hell? Are the most evil people that we can think of, are they only going to go to hell? And then I'm going to bring in a little fun in this. Has anybody watched the DC series Lucifer? Aside from some great eye candy, there's some great thoughts about heaven and hell, because the main lead character is Lucifer Morningstar. And he really is tired of being blamed for every sin on earth. He gets really tired of, of not being able to have the life that he's chosen. So he's trying to separate himself from his father, and he is the Lord of hell. However, his character, his own character, he never lies. He is never dishonest. Maybe he's a sex pot drinking, alcohol drinking, fun party animal, but at the essence of who he is in the show, he is about punishing the evil. But if you actually watch when you look at it, and when he actually sends somebody to hell, that hell is of their own making. There is one episode where one of the main characters' husband relives this one day. And at the end of it, you realize that he has gone to hell because of where his own mind sent him. And he is in the TV show, he has to relive that same day over and over again. But sometimes here on earth, if you can't get out of your own mind, if you can't get out of the negative mind or the negative thoughts that go along with whatever bullshit happens to be playing out in your life, pardon the language, whatever negative thing is happening in your own life, if you can't get out of your mind, get you out of your own head, then I believe you are in a form of hell. And when your mind is clear and happy, I believe that, to me, that is the definition of heaven. So I'd like to take a few minutes for everyone to break out into groups. And if I can get my mouse to work, I have some questions that I think would be fun to hear the answers to. So what is your definition of heaven and hell? And do you live in a state of heaven on earth? Is there intimacy in heaven? Do we have friends? Do we have lovers? Do we love everybody in heaven? Because if heaven is what all of our religious upbringing is, everything is perfect. So therefore, is every single soul you meet in heaven one of your friends or one of your lovers? So what kind of intimacy do you think happens once we get to heaven?
Anna, can I just ask a question? Is it just me, or is her screen not changing for everybody else? I'm still on the picture. If there is a heaven, is there a hell? And I didn't get to see the next two pictures.
Nothing.
Okay, so
it's not just me.
Okay, sorry about that. Mary Jean and I were kind of playing with this before everybody else got here, and so you guys are still. Oh, you know what? Because I scrolled down instead of clicking on it. So is there a heaven and hell? So here is the pictures. Does that change? Did that change, Tina?
No, it did not.
Oh, bizarre.
That's weird for PowerPoint. What? There you go. Yeah, well, sometimes you got to reshare, but that's okay. You did a good story. We get the gist. I just didn't want to miss the pictures if we could see them.
Well, one of the hells I have is tech. Oh my God.
I understand.
It is my personal hell. So I'm going to try sharing the screen again, because I know apparently there's different ways of sharing your screen. So if I go in this way, now you should be able to see what I see as I click through. Did that change? Okay. So up in here, so I'll go back. So the last one you said you saw, is there a heaven or hell? And that's just somebody's head exploding. And then the next one, the spiritual or the religious. What does heaven look like for you? Where are you on your own journey? Are you embracing religion? Are you embracing spirituality? Are you trying to balance the two? Right? What part of religion really makes sense in your spiritual journey? And then the last one is just the group chat, where, let me see if I can make this picture. My mouse is.
Actually, Anna, if you can grab those questions and copy them and place them in the chat, then I can send them off to their breakouts with those questions.
Okay.
That'd be perfect. And then you won't have to remember them. All right.
Oh, good. Okay, chat. Where did you go, chat? I will stop sharing for the moment so I can find chat. Chat. There we go. Are there any questions that anybody would love to ask before we head off into the breakout rooms?